Yeah, Mina. Hisao was asking me when his favourite console would be on, so I told Hisao, no, the CDI is so crap that I wouldn't even let it be part of my rubbish heap. But jokes aside, he is a huge Famicom fan, and we have yet to have a Famicom game on the show.
Yeah, that's right, Saki. CDI indeed. Yeah, the Famicom was the first console I bought, and I got hooked on it right away. And today we're looking at a late release for the system, a platformer from Jaleco.
I hadn't heard of Pizza Pop before Hisao suggested it. It was released in early 1992, and as such is a relatively rare and expensive game. It's a simple platformer, but sometimes a shorter game is just a ticket when you have an hour or less to spare, but want to enjoy a game that doesn't require too much thinking to get into. So does it merit its price tag, or does it just go pop?
Pizza Pop reminds me very much of the Hanna-Barbera cartoons such as Top Cat, The Jetsons and Yogi Bear, with that slightly offbeat 1950s and early 1960s style. Paired with this is a straightforward platformer. It's not always left to right, as sometimes you'll be ascending an apartment block or a tower. The story goes that you want to buy a ring for your girlfriend Betty, but it seems your rival Nick has, nicked your girlfriend? Or so it seems. So you have to battle across various stages and 5 bosses as Nick tries to thwart your progress along the way, across cityscapes, building sites, and even haunted houses.
Hisao makes a really good point there. I really like the colours used in this game. Sometimes the Famicom's more muted palette can make for some really beautiful looking games. I like the mix of greens and purples in this game especially. My favourite stage would probably be the haunted house stage.
Yeah, probably me too, but the boss, a vampire or maybe Dracula, is a bit of a pain as he'll draw you towards him and then attack you. But that raises a good point. Each boss has a different gimmick to defeat them, which makes it a little bit more interesting than Super Mario Bros., where it's always 3 bops ahead to bring down the boss.
I would say the gameplay is a little more linear and simplistic though.
Definitely, this is no Super Mario Bros. In terms of hidden secrets, and doesn't quite have the tightness of gameplay that game from 7 years prior has. But I think this game plays well enough, except in one way, and I bet Saki has the same opinion.
The timing of your main defence, the big old pizza spatula?
Precisely. Getting the timing down for this is a little tricky at first, as there is a little delay to when your attack will register. So you want to do it a little bit sooner than you think, but you soon adjust. You can also jump on the enemies' heads to stun them, but the stun period doesn't last that long, and they'll be back on their attack pattern before long. What did you think of the music and sound effects in this game, Saki?
Okay, this is what I like most about the Famicom, its sound. I know a lot of games have extensive sound capability, especially some of those from Konami and Sunsoft, but I really like the warmth of the Famicom's bass sound capability. It has a certain bounciness to it, which is unmistakable, and whilst this game has a straight average soundtrack, I still enjoyed it.
And that sums this game up as a whole for me. It's never going to wow you, but it can amuse you. It's not going to be anybody's favourite platformer, but for a straightforward playthrough that can be done in under an hour easily with a little bit of variety, it's an enjoyable enough romp. It has a couple of sub-stages involving racing your rival, and at first the timing can seem very tight, but once you realise it's best to dodge the obstacles and keep an eye on the shadows, the game doesn't throw too many curveballs. The difficulty mostly comes from the bosses, but once you have their patterns down, they will succumb pretty easily. The only exception is Dracula, but once you work out how to attack him, he comes down easy enough as well.
There's also a bonus stage to mention.
Good point, but it's the same the couple of times or so that it occurs. Stack up the pizzas being thrown at you and load them into the pizza oven for a points bonus.
Just to add as well, unlike Super Mario Bros., your weapon is never augmented or powered up, but you do have a life bar and free continues, so completing this game shouldn't be that difficult after a bit of practice. Honestly, my biggest gripe for this game is its current second-hand price. It's a late release for the Famicom, so it's expensive, but it's not worth the prices being asked.
Yeah, these late games were never cheap, but prices in Japan on the second-hand market have really accelerated in the last year.
Yeah, for some things. I mean, I bought Parasite Eve the other day for the PlayStation for 600 yen complete.
Wait, what? We have definitely got to play that again soon.
We sure have. We'll have to have a game site with Kaito soon.
Sounds good, and I can bring pizza and pop. Boom tish.
Hell yeah! So to wrap up the Japanese level and rating of this game, the Japanese level in this game is none, as the entire game is in English except for between stage screens, which merely tell you what kind of pizza you are delivering. For those who are studying Japanese, it will only provide extremely basic reading practice for the pizza names, but for those who only understand some English, it's 100% playable. As for the rating, Hisao and I agree. This is a fair game, or 2 stars out of 5. This doesn't make it bad. A similar style of game that we consider as good in this category would be Tiny Toon Adventures for the Famicom, which we would give 3 stars out of 5. That gives you an idea of the difference between what we consider a fair and a good game. This game is fine for when you want to scratch the platformer itch on the Famicom, but don't have much time. You can see this game off easy enough in 30 minutes. Anyway, thanks so much for your help today, Hisao. It's been really appreciated.
No worries, Saki. As always, a pleasure.
As always, like, subscribe and all of that shit, and also check out this rad Rubbish Heap merch, available worldwide on Redbubble and Amazon. See the links below for how to purchase. I've been Saki Endo, and this has been a Rubbish Heap. Ja ne!